Welcome back to Foster Care, an unparalleled journey with Jason and Amanda Palmer, where our mission is providing strength to the weakest among us, from both kids in foster care and their biological families. We also talk about topics that affect all children and families. It is our hope that we can inspire you to become the best bio, step, foster, adoptive, or whatever kind of mom or dad that you can be. Part of our mission is inspiring others to become amazing foster families as well, if that is your calling. If it's not your calling, great. Find a thing that sets your soul on fire and go be awesome at that. Let's make our communities great together. Be sure to go by Jason M. Palmer and check out the blog post and other podcast episodes. You can search Jason and Amanda Palmer on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere else you get your podcast. If we don't show up, be sure to send me an email and let me know, and I will try to get it on there. We'd love to have you leave us some feedback in the form of a rating and review. It really helps the show gain attention. Hi, and welcome back to Foster Care, an unparalleled journey. We are listening to the beeping noises of the ambulance outside and the kids making noise in the house.
Hey, at least the ambulance isn't for us.
Amen.
Knock on wood.
We are talking tonight about a topic that we've discussed quite a bit. I've seen it online some, and that is caseworkers getting stuff done. If you have done any foster care, you've probably had some experience with that. If you're a caseworker, you know what it's all about. If you're a new foster parent, you probably don't know what it's all about yet. But the ones who've been around for a hot minute, you finally figure it all out. And I'll go ahead and just claim OG status for us because we've been messing with foster care and adoptive kids for the last 10 years, and we've learned a lot about that. And I saw a post from someone I know who is who's a worker with the state, and my wife actually pointed it out to me, and I thought it was a real good description because it gets frustrating. You send your mileage form in and it doesn't get taken care of, or you send this or that, or you call and go, hey, I got a question for you if you call me back real quick. And it's a quick question. You only want like 30 seconds of their time, but you don't get a call back for a day or two.
Or you're in crisis and you need help right now.
Or that. I mean, that happens too. We've experienced that in the past. But the gal, her name is Auburn. She's going to be on our podcast that's supposed to publish tonight, I think, on the Foster Care and Unparalleled Journey podcast. So if you go look for that, jasonmpalmer.com, it'll tomorrow morning I'll make sure that there's a link up for that. Or if you just look for us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, we should be on all of them by now. But it should post tomorrow. It's her telling a story there. But in her Facebook post, she says, in case any of you wanted to know what your local Children's Division workers are up to, here is how my day has gone. Made a list of 37 to-dos. Made 17 phone calls. Answered 11 emails. Scanned in 56 documents. Then e-filed or scanned to database system. Had 2 home visits. Had 1 no-show visit. Found 2 kiddos' homes. Kept 1 home from disrupting. Chugged 2 sodas. Read 1 disgusting report that I'll probably have nightmares about. 1 phone call with the hospital. 2 coffees, and drove 67 miles. Scheduled 1 therapy appointment. Had 2 parent visits, and scheduled 2 home visits with new placements. Yes, I counted them all in my free time that I didn't log for. But here we are, kidnapping babies and getting paid to take kids. If only people really knew how hard we worked to keep families together and keep foster homes happy. And I think that says a lot for people who don't experience it, don't know what it's all about. It's really easy to get frustrated with your workers sometimes. And there are bad workers.
There are bad workers.
For sure.
But there's also some really good workers too.
Yeah.
That are out there working their butt off for the kids, and they really do care for the kids. That's why they're there. They're there to take care of kiddos. They all have their different reasons for why they're doing the job that they do. But deep down, they're there to help kiddos.
I agree. Definitely.
And there's so many parts that we don't see.
Yeah.
We don't see everything that they do on a day-to-day basis.
Like, where she's talking about scanning in 50-something different forms and then e-filing and logging all that. And that's the stuff that doesn't get any of the headlines. You never see that in the news article about a foster or a caseworker doing something crazy, but
No, those paperwork, that's paperwork for court. That's
legal
getting your stuff straight for the kids,
And that's legal stuff they're legally required to have done. I've actually seen a judge, I've been in court and seen a judge say, hey, if you don't have this done, I'm going to throw you in my jail for contempt of court. And he was talking to a worker. So,
yeah, I do recall that now that you mention it. The judges do, they keep them on their toes. And everything has to be just right. When they walk into that courtroom for your TPR or for your court case, if they don't have the paperwork right, you're looking at a continuance. You're looking at another 3 months.
Yeah.
Or you're looking at your whole case being blown apart because the paperwork's not done right. You're looking at a kiddo going back home when they're not ready to because the paperwork isn't where it should be.
Yep.
And paperwork is just one aspect of it. There's so many details, the visits and checking in, the FSTs and, they do a lot.
The one thing I know that has to drive them crazy, because it's always driven us crazy when it happens to us, is when you go to all the trouble to schedule a visit, you make sure you have the time off to go do it. You pack everybody up, you get everybody there, you sit there for what, 20 or 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Before they just call it and say, okay, they're not showing up. But a worker's tied up, a visitation room's tied up, a foster parent's tied up. You've got all that so that somebody can just not make it for a visit.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating all around.
And then you get the message later on that says, oh, yeah, sorry, I had my days mixed up. I didn't know. Can we do that tomorrow instead?
Right. Can you just drop everything and do it tomorrow now?
Yeah. And so you've got these workers doing all these things. And for the most part, most workers are at least decent humans trying to do a decent job. I'd say a good portion of the workers are just doing their best to make everything work. They're really working hard. And there are a few that are kind of lazy and don't want to get the job done. That's going to be everywhere, though. I have those people at my work.
Well, the thing is our caseworkers, they don't make a whole lot of money at all.
No.
They make little money. They make less than $30,000 a year in the state of Missouri to start. And I mean, it's nothing. And the caseload, I mean, you could just go on and on and on. The caseloads are immense. They're supposed to have a few kids and they end up with triple caseloads.
Yeah.
And how do you juggle that?
Absolutely. I know that it's not uncommon to find workers that have caseloads that exceed the legal limit, because the limit might be here, but when the stack of kids is here, you got to take the rest of them and put them into the caseload.
I mean, you
files.
can't just toss a kid aside and say, oh, well, I can't do this because I'm at my limit. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And not only that, our caseworkers are not just in our county. They visit outside counties.
Yeah. Yeah. We had, when Turtle came with us, we had workers who came up from,
they drove an hour and a half.
It was an hour and a half drive.
Hour and a half, almost 2 hours that they would come monthly to come and see him and do his home visit. So they're traveling out of county and they're traveling in their own vehicles because most children's divisions, they have one state car.
Yeah.
So they're using their cars, their gas, their wear and tear, and not only that, the one thing that I really want people to take home is when our caseworkers go home, they take it with them.
Oh, absolutely.
They take those cases home. They take those babies home with them, and they think about it and they have nightmares about it, and it doesn't just end when they punch the time clock.
Oh, yeah, because these stories, some of them, just like the one she talked about in the post there, she read a report that was so disgusting she'll probably have nightmares about it tonight. And I know a handful of those stories from our experience, but
we've had a handful of those stories,
But the workers, on an average month, probably have 50% more cases than we have had in the entire time we've done foster care. So on a monthly basis, they, it just keeps piling on. So, I mean, I just can't say I blame them for a lot of this stuff. It gets frustrating. Don't get me wrong. It gets frustrating.
Well, and they get frustrated too.
Absolutely. But that's the thing is, it's not like, for the most part, it's not like they're being lazy. It's not like it's them just not doing their job. even when it feels like it, because they're not getting that one little thing you need done. But you never know that one little thing that you want done, where it falls in the stack of the other things. When you have a case that's about to disrupt, when you have a kid who's about to get moved into another home, they're going to have to find one more home. And sometimes that has to happen.
You've got a teenager who ran away, who didn't come home from school. It happens. And we all think that our case, the case that we have right now, that's the worst case. And it is the worst case for you because it's the one you have right now. But it may definitely not be the worst case that caseworker has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It may not be, as high up on the priority list as it is for you. Because there's always a story that is worse than the one that you have.
Yep. I would absolutely agree with that. It's just important to realize that as much as it seems to you and to us sometimes like they're just not getting to what they need to, usually you're wrong. You just don't know what's going on. They're not allowed to discuss that other case with you. They can only try and maybe make you understand by saying, hey, we have another case that took precedence.
Yeah, but just try to have some patience. And if it is really important, there is a chain of command. If you need somebody, by all means, keep going until you get an answer.
Yeah,
keep going until you find somebody. But if it's something that can wait until tomorrow, you might let it rest.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's about all we have for tonight. We had to do a quick one, and fortunately, the kids haven't been ridiculously raucous or noisy and not real loud traffic behind us tonight, so we're going to call that a win.
Hey, bribed them with video games.
Right? That's what good parents do. They bribe with video games.
Woohoo!
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks to everyone for listening all the way through. If you're trying to find us on a specific podcasting platform, just search for Jason and Amanda Palmer or Foster Care, An Unparalleled Journey, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or anywhere where you find your podcast. You can also download it so that you can listen wherever you're at, even when you aren't online. You can find us online at jasonmpalmer.com, where you can read our blog and listen to all of our previous podcasts. If you have a story that you'd like to tell on the show, please send me an email at jasonmpalmer@yahoo.com, and be sure to put podcast in the subject line. Or send me a message through our Facebook page at Foster Care, An Unparalleled Journey. We'll see you next time.